Hi there, welcome back to my channel. Today, as a follow-up to the video on 8 steps to overcome suffering, get blissed out now, we're going to talk about the first step. And if you're wondering where I'm getting this information from, this is my overview of the Tantra of the Yoga Sutras, which the Yoga Sutras are the 8 limbs of yoga. It's about getting from a state of disconnect and suffering to a state of bliss. So it's like that hierarchy of steps. And basically today we're gonna go with step 1, which is the yamas. There is sub-steps within the yamas, as it is deprogramming our mental patterns. So the thoughts we have, our subconscious mind has a lot of mental beliefs and chatter that replay and can cause us suffering. And I think there's some statistic of like 80% of our thoughts are negative, which is kind of a scary thought. So this is really about like ways to reprogram the things that are making us feel stuck, not good enough, unlovable, whatever that is. So I'm gonna just quickly review them today. We have ahimsa, the process of becoming free of violence, both towards others and ourselves. Okay, so this is a huge topic. I could have a whole video on just this one. Non-violence, so it's practicing non-violence. Well, I'm gonna tell you from my own experience, I used to be very violent towards myself and towards other people, verbally and in my head. So like every time I would like drop a spoon on the ground or accidentally break a plate or stub my toe or forget something, I would say really vulgar things to myself, like even out loud, like fucking idiot, you're so stupid, what's wrong with you, how come you can't do anything right? And it's like, if that's how I talk to myself, if that's how I feel about myself, how is anyone else supposed to love me? You know, how can I ever feel whole, worthy, and complete if the only things I say to myself are absolutely vile? And you would never say that to your own child. So why would you say it to yourself? And then obviously towards others, well, I think being nonviolent towards yourself is the first key, because like I said, if you can't even be nonviolent to yourself, how are you supposed to love others? How are others supposed to love you? But a big one, a very easy way to practice this is in your car. So if you suffer from road rage, trust me, we all go through this. Just every time you're just about to verbally diarrhea out all these negative things about somebody based on whatever, they cut you off or they didn't turn their signal on before they turned or whatever. See if you can take a breath and just like, whew. Not everyone has the same mindset as me. Not everybody is as well adept at driving. Maybe that person's signal doesn't work. I don't know. Just practice, like not just violence towards others. It doesn't mean that you have to accept others being rude to you, but you just have, it's like the ability to not react in a violent manner. So little baby steps, when you can not react to those little things, over time, it'll be a lot easier to not blow up on somebody over a bigger issue. And I see this a lot in my own relationship dynamic. Like when I was 16 and me and my husband met, we used to fight like cats and dogs, and it would be like explosive, screaming in your face, someone ends up crying kind of fights. And now it's like we barely ever fight. And we still disagree on just as many things. It's just like, is this worth it? And is it worth hurting that person's feelings that they left their socks on the floor? You know what I mean? It's like, there's probably better things to do with my energy than make myself feel sick to my stomach by saying vulgar things to somebody else. So that is one, ahimsa, a practice of nonviolence. Those are very small, little ways you can start to work on that to yourself. Every time you say something rude to yourself, catch yourself and say the opposite. So if you're like me, not anymore, and you stub your toe and you're like, you're such an idiot. Be like, no, you're not an idiot. You just weren't paying attention. I love you. You're perfect. We all make mistakes. Like, nurture yourself like you're nurturing a small child that you truly, truly love. Okay, so let's move on to the next one. Satya. Satya, I love the sound of that. Sorry if I'm not saying these right. They're in Sanskrit, so bear with me. Which is basically freeing the mind of lies and untruths. Well, this kind of goes in with ahimsa a little bit, because what are you saying about yourself? What are you saying to yourself that's not true? A big one for me, as I said before, was I would call myself an idiot a lot. And I would also, every single time someone would disagree with me or have a falling out or something, I would tell myself this story that it was because I was unworthy and I was unlovable. Or it was because they were, and also, I'm not saying I took all the blame, or they were stupid, or they're an idiot, or they're a jerk. Well, that's not necessarily true. When I look back on a lot of situations, I'm like, well, you know what? Actually, I can kind of see where they were coming from. Maybe they weren't a jerk. I was perceiving them that way. So it's that ability to stop and think deeper into what is being said and say, is there some truth to this? Usually there is a little nugget of truth there, but is that the whole truth? Is there more to the story? What are you missing? Are you looking at the situation with a clouded lens? You're like, this is what I believe, so I'm going to look at it through my belief system. And now I'm going to miss all this other stuff because my vision is clouded. I'm not looking at it from a neutral perspective. I'm looking at it from an emotional, attached perspective. And I was telling my son about this morning because he was talking about some kid that he's really good friends with at the skate park that's depressed. And he doesn't understand why he's depressed because his parents are so nice and he gets everything he wants. And it's like, but first of all, you've never been to this kid's house. You don't know what his parents say to him. You don't know if his girlfriend just broke up with him. You don't know what people say to him at school or how they treat him, because this kid doesn't go to the same school as. You don't know what's actually going on in this kid's life. You don't know if every time he gets something bought for him, he's emotionally blackmailed about it. There's so many factors that go into someone's emotions that to just take a snap judgment of somebody is unfair because you don't know them. The better way to go about it is to hold space for them, to be open to what they're feeling, not telling them they're wrong for feeling something, not judging them for where they are at. It's being open to the fact that there's more to the story than you realize, and then moving forward from there and inquiring, oh, well, why do you feel that way? Oh, when they say this to you, why does that make you feel this way? Do you think that they have something going on in their own life? Doing that, inquisitive thread. So free the minds of untruths and lies. And it's really hard to go around freeing everyone else from their lies. So just focus on what you're telling your own self that isn't true. Is it really true that you're unlovable? Is that true? Is there something about you that means that nobody in this world is going to love you? Or did you internalize that because of something that happened to you in childhood and you weren't old enough or mature enough and you didn't have enough information to fully understand it? So you decided when you were 6 that you were unlovable. Dig deeper and see what's going on. Asteya. Absence of coveting or wanting what is not ours. the universe will provide what's yours. So this is a little bit tricky because it's not saying that you shouldn't want anything or that you shouldn't desire anything. Desire and wanting are a very big clues to where we could go in our lives. It's telling us something about who we are and what it is we're drawn to. So they're not bad things. It's just when you're desiring and wanting something that's not yours, something that's out of your grasp, and then maybe being envious, jealous, feeling those negative emotions are like, I can't have it, it's not mine, why don't I have it? I think that's where the problem comes in. So it's like, recognize if there's something that you desire, like maybe wanting someone else's wife is, I shouldn't say maybe, it's probably not the best idea, right? Because they're already with somebody else. But that doesn't mean you can't desire a wife like that for yourself, that has similar characteristics, that treats you in a way that makes you feel good. So then you can detach from that very specific thing that you're wanting or desiring that's not yours, or someone else's house, and say, okay, clearly I'm drawn to this type of person or this type of house. What steps can I take to attract that into my life? So it's like more from a place of gratitude and curiosity and willingness to take action and learn and grow than it is of being like Gollum in the cave, like, my precious, I want this. I hope that makes sense. Okay, so the next one is brahmacharya. Brahmacharya. I hope I'm saying this right. Aligning the creative force in us with the greater intention of the collective. So basically, doing what benefits both us and the people around us. So if you're only acting in your own best interest at the expense of other people's best interest, then that's not gonna bring the best results for you. That's gonna create a lot of resistance. It's gonna create backlash, potential bad karma, because if you're having to take from other people and steal from them, like energetically, mentally, physically, whatever, then in the end, that's not in alignment with the greater collective. So it's like, what can you do? What can you create? What can you put out there? So acts of service that is going to benefit you, but it's also going to benefit other people. So for instance, I am a yoga teacher and a mindset coach. So yes, making content for people is beneficial to me in that I can gain followers, or I can gain clients, or I can gain monetary value from creating content. But that content is also benefiting those people. So I'm creating, but my creation is also benefiting the people around me, if that makes sense. So it's like, what are the best paying jobs? The best paying jobs are jobs where you're acting in service of others. Because what is your value? A value is a very abstract concept where your value comes from the value you create for those around you. Right? So it's like, if you can, get a rock, just like a piece of gravel, well, it's pretty easy to find that, so that, the value might be relatively low. But then think about the value of buying like a pebble, like just a not even polished pebble, like beside a creek down the road on your driveway, versus how much more valuable it would be to find a tattoo artist that is good at what they do, sanitary, and has the same art style that you want on your body. That value goes up significantly because they're providing something more for you than, you know, whatever that is, that little rock is. I'm hoping this makes sense. So putting out value that benefits you, but benefits everyone else. Okay, so the last and final yama is apagraha. Apagraha. I hope I'm saying that right. Absence of greed and possessiveness. So recognizing that you can have things, but you do not own things. So like you have a wife or you have a husband, but you do not own them. You do not possess them. You do not control them, right? Having expectations of them to act and be a certain way is unrealistic because they are not your property. They are someone who is agreeing to share life with you, agreeing to share a space with you, but you do not own them. And even though we own pets in society, realistically, they are free. They have their own free will to do what they want. And to treat it any way other than that is to, you know, have possessiveness over that thing. And same with greed. Like the lady who produced The Secret was talking about this. They had like these massive wildfires in California, and like people were losing everything. They were panicking, and like people's houses, and they were losing everything in their homes. And then there was like a mudslide after, whatever. And she said she left. She didn't take anything with her, and she had not a care in the world because she just thought, if it goes, it goes. It wasn't meant for me, and I'll attract new stuff going forward. You know, there's like that detachment of, my possessions, they're mine. You know, like a panic of like all that attachment to our stuff. And you really see that with like hoarders, like, oh, they have like a pair of pants that's 20 years old, but it reminds them that at one time they had a 24-inch waist and they just can't let go of them, even though they're never going to fit them or never going to wear them again. It's like, can you just let go of that attachment and have things and enjoy them and be grateful for them when they're there? But if they were lost or broken, it's like you can move on. You can be okay with that because you're not attached to that possession. Okay. I really hope this was of value to you. I'm just going to quickly reiterate the 5 things, and I will see you in the next video after. So, ahimsa, non-violence, practice of non-violence towards yourself and to others. Remember, we can flip the switch. What stories are we telling ourselves? Let's make sure they're positive. That's why affirmations are really powerful. Satya, free the mind of lies and untruth. Be aware of what you're saying to yourself. Be aware of what you're saying to others and how you're perceiving things. Is your perception clear or is it foggy? Can you take the time to evaluate things that you disagree with or that trigger you and actually get to the bottom of it? Is there lies and untruths in it? Can you free yourself of those? Asteya, absence of coveting or wanting what is not ours. So learning to appreciate what is ours, to notice what we desire, what we want, and instead of unhealthily attaching ourselves to what is not ours, taking from other people, noticing where that desire is and moving in a healthy way towards that desire, in a way that's not hurting other people. It's a way that's not taking from others. So again, like I'll use the example of a wife. You can think someone's wife is beautiful and want to be with them. Instead of trying to take that person's wife from them, you can recognize the qualities in that person that make you feel good, that what is it that's drawing you towards them, and then put those intentions into the universe. Write it out, script it, be open to receiving it, and see how that can come in a different avenue, because what is meant for us will come in, We have to be open to it. We do not have to take or steal it. Brahmacharya, aligning with the creative force that is greater or benefits the collective. So what can we do? What can we create? What can we put out into the world that benefits us and other people? And then apigraha, absence of greed and possessiveness. It's our ability to release attachment of how other people act, how other people behave, and how we are attached to our own physical things. Why are we attached to certain places? Why are we attached to certain items? Can we release? Can we let go? Can we be okay? Can we appreciate those things, have gratitude, but not be like it'd be detrimental to our mental health if it was gone? I really hope this made sense. Be sure to like this video, share it with anyone you think would gain value, and subscribe down below if you haven't already to be updated with new content. I do 1 yoga video a week, 1 tarot reading a week, and then all of these beautiful little spiritual lessons, and we'll be going over the other 7 limbs over the next few weeks here. Also, I want to say I am taking personal coaching clients right now, both for yoga and mindset. So if you're interested in working with me one-on-one, I will link my website down below and you can contact me by email to book a free consultation. I will see you in the next video. Bye.